Hi everyone and welcome to the Fishwish channel. If you found this video, you've probably been asking, can you be a professional fishing coach? And the answer to that is yes. That's what I've done for the last 15 years or so. When I was younger, it was a case of going into tackle trade, becoming a fisheries scientist or a fisheries officer, running a fishery river keeper, that sort of thing. And also becoming a journo or photographer for a fishing magazine. On the subject of social media, I should add, you're never going to make any money out of being an angling influencer, unless you're the next Carl and Alex on YouTube. I've been a professional angling coach since 2009 when I set up Fishwish, and I set it up because I had this really firm belief that angling had an untapped value in education and health. So in this video, I'm going to give 5 tips that I think need to be given some consideration if you've got similar aspirations to make a living out of it. When I tell people that I teach people to fish for a living, I'm normally met with disbelief or criticism. If I can, I'm just going to give some context to the challenges that you're likely to face. The average sports coach earns £30,000 a year, and the top level sports coaches, well, they earn in excess of £100,000 a year in some cases. So what's wrong with being an angling coach? If you go online and ask if is it worth having fishing lessons, most anglers will come back and say no. And that's because they don't know what they don't know. If you talk to some of the most experienced anglers, you'll often find that they've only ever focused on one particular discipline that they like. And I've met plenty that have lots of experience doing it wrong. The Environment Agency and Angling Trust for a long time have held the view that a fishing coach should be in a voluntary role. And that's really just because that's what fitted in with their angling development projects. They thought it would give them better bang for buck, but you couldn't really get further from the truth. If you want to compete with other sports, you need a professional coach because that's what improves standards and keeps rising the bar, that competition and that professionalism. So yeah, my interest in the environment and in well-being and education is what made me set up Fishwish and probably set me aside from other coaches who were mostly retired competitors. And naturally their aim was to then create the next generation of competitive anglers. And what you need to do is take a step back and look at angling, because the prize pots at top level angling are much, much smaller to other comparative low impact and mindful sports like golf or snooker, for example. And that's because there's so many different branches of angling. Angling has an image problem. If you think what media has done, they've portrayed angling to be old duffers like J.R. Hartley, fat oafs like Homer Simpson sat underneath a tree with a hanky on his head drinking beer. And then you've got the comedy films that portray the dad dragging their kid out fishing to try and bond with them, and that kid thinking that they couldn't think of anything more boring. And there's no career path that's already been stamped out beyond what people like myself and a handful of others have done. So these 5 things I think I've examined and identified as key points are: number 1, fisheries have changed considerably. Access to angling has become a lot more difficult, and you typically would go to a club or to a day ticket fishery, where if you don't have a level of competence that meets that club or fishery's expectations, you could be banned from angling. You'd do well to get in with a club or a fishery as their coach representative as a good starting point. Number 2, people no longer are willing to go out there and experiment if it means that a fish's welfare or another animal's welfare could be put at risk. And in fact, the Animal Welfare Act has made that against the law. So having a really good understanding of best practice methods and handling in terms of fish welfare is going to put you in good stead. Number 3, the education and health values of angling are much higher than the value placed in technical competence. Focus on that And keep in mind that other qualifications, skills and experience in things like teaching, mentoring, counselling, working with people with special needs, working with people with that have had substance abuse in their lives, or mental health difficulties, all those things are going to help you in your aspirations to become a professional angling coach. Number 4, safety is absolutely paramount. You really have to focus on the safety aspects. It's not just schools and hospitals and everything else that have these expectations. It's individual parents, even private paying adults have certain expectations on your level of competence in safety and child welfare. Number 5, and this is why I got really shot down, it has to be a genuine love for fishing and the environments that support it. I will meet people that are top of their game in every single little niche and discipline, whether that's match angling, carp fishing, sea fishing, beach casting, boat fishing, lure angling, fly casting, whatever it is. They will shoot you down because you're making a living out of something that they believe themselves to be best at. But at the end of the day, if you've got this broad appreciation for all the disciplines and are practiced in all those different disciplines to a reasonable level, then you've got something to offer a lot more people. Now, the Angling Trusts have the Real Education programme going into schools, and they pay their qualified coaches just under £100. An unqualified decorator charges twice that. They probably don't have to travel as far. They won't have to do risk assessment, session plans, reports. Yeah, it's not enough really, is it? I work with young people and they will come up to me and sadly they'll say, what do I need to buy? Not what do I need to learn? Where do I need to go? What do I need to use? And that's because they're being pointed towards YouTube videos. It is a minefield. Now I'm going to cheekily use that as a cue just to remind you that there is a playlist on this channel of tutorials that might be of interest to you. And yeah, if you can leave a comment, like or subscribe, that helps me and my colleagues go out there and continue to encourage more people to take up fishing. If you've any questions, I'd be delighted to answer them. And thanks for watching.